This weekend, step into the magical world of Disney on Ice. Some of your favorite animated characters from 2 Disney films come to life at People's Bank Arena. Witness world-class skating while singing along to popular Disney tunes. Saturday is Westport's 20th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. Jelani Cobb is guest speaker. The author and dean of Columbia University School of Journalism will explore the complexities of our history, politics, and culture while offering hope for the future. It's also Open Cockpit Day at the New England Air Museum. Check out a variety of aircraft, including the VS-44 plane. Find out why it's known as the Flying Boat. Go on an American Revolution spy mission at the Fairfield Library. Escape from a general's mansion to deliver critical intelligence to patriots before time runs out. It's an immersive escape room experience using original storylines, puzzles, and rooms throughout the library. Then head to Win Vivian Farm for a spa day, a time of restoration and rejuvenation, allowing you to release the stress of a long work week. You'll find it nestled away in Litchfield Hills. Or ease your stress by going bird watching. Go on a search for birds found in winter along Milford shoreline. Meet up with Connecticut's traveling environmental educators group at the main parking lot at Silver Sand State Park. Be sure and grab your binoculars. Starting this Friday through February 8th, don't miss the stage play, The Cottage, a comedy about doing the wrong thing with the right person. The play promises to keep you laughing as hilarious secrets are revealed. And on Sunday, experience the magic of Elton John like never before. It's an amazing tribute show for all you Tiny Dancer and Benny and the Jets fans. So don't let the sun go down on this chance to hear some hits from the Rocket Man. Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Houston, your host of 8 Things to Do. Today, we're talking about theater, a topic that I simply love to talk about. Today's production is called The Cottage, and one of the actors from that production is Jordan Sobel. He joins us right now. Thanks for joining us, Jordan.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right, The Cottage. Tell us what it's all about and the character that you portray.
Sure. So The Cottage is a really delightful, very silly comedy written by Sandy Rustin. And it is about a woman named Sylvia who has come to this cottage with the character that I play, whose name is Bo. And we are having a little affair. And the tricky part of this affair is that she is married to my brother. So essentially the whole mixed coupling thing happens where she is convinced that she's in love with me and that she wants to spend her life together with me, and so she sends a telegram to my wife and to her husband, and then everyone starts to show up to the cottage, and then from there hilarity, chaos, and all sorts of madness ensues.
Oh, man, that just gets downright messy, you might say.
Complicated, we'll say it's a complicated relationship.
Yes, it is. Now, you and your brother are not twins in the production, right?
No, right. There's all sorts of who's the prettier, who's the younger, who's the more debonair. It's a very competitive relationship between the brothers here.
So how do you
It's a lot
guys
of
weave through this very complex situation?
Uh, you know, so much of this process is just trying to make each other laugh. It's figuring out what's the story, what's the heartbeat of this piece, what is the very human and real um thing that's happening, and then layering on top of that is great. Now, what's the funniest version of how to make that work, and finding ourselves in all of these problems, and how do we unstick these problems, and um the chaos that ensues from putting out one fire while another fire rages on over there. So you have to put out that fire, and that fire is put out, but then that fire goes, and you have to go to that fire, and that fire is going, and all of a sudden there's 18 fires happening at once that we're all trying to put out as a group, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
And how is the audience reacting to all of this? What seems to be the high point for them?
We haven't started yet, so right now we're in what's called the technical part of the process, technical
Mhm.
rehearsals, where we are basically, so we've been for the past 3-ish weeks together in a room with the cast, the director, and the stage management team. And now we're at the part of the process where we moved into the theater, and we're now collaborating with all of our designers. So the costume designer, the lighting designer, the sound, the props, the set designer, and we're now putting the whole thing together in the space with all of the technical elements. and we don't have an audience until this Friday. So we start previews this Friday. We preview for about a week, and then we open officially on the 23rd.
Oh, okay. Well, looking forward to that. Now,
Yeah,
the moral dilemma that's going on here. How does, and I don't want to give away the play, but by
sure.
asking this, how do you guys get through this? And is there some degree of peace and tranquility and loving family at the end of the production?
Totally. Certainly, there is certainly a resolution to the piece. I'll leave the secrets as secrets. But really, what the play is ultimately exploring is women's liberation in many ways. This is set during a period of time where what the divorce laws are and how women are incorporated with those divorce laws. There's women have more agency as of this moment, and so the play is in a very delightful way exploring um, the dynamics between men and women, women kind of being able to go out on their own, and so without giving away any of the sort of twists and turns of the play deals with what it means to find happiness, to be comfortable with oneself, to be comfortable in a partnership. Is it about love? Is it about sex? Is it, what is it about
It's
that keeps
always about
marriages
that, let me
happy and
tell you.
alive? And what are the things that we need to do for ourselves to keep ourselves happy? And so it's an exploration of all those things through a very silly comedy, but it really does deal with some very beautiful and honest looks about the human condition, topped off with lots of champagne and frosting of humor and comedy and silliness,
And a lot of
for sure.
hilarity thrown in there. Okay, give us the dates, times, and the location for the cottage so everyone can come out and see you guys.
Sure. So we start previews the 16th, and then we officially open the 23rd, run through February 8th. And it is Tuesdays through Sundays at Hartford Stage. And then for more specific times, you'll have to log on to our website. I know we have some 7:30 shows, probably some 2 o'clock shows. And I think that's generally speaking what the timeline of our
And
performances
that
are.
website is? That's okay. I will look it
Hartford
up and make
Stage.
sure that we have
Yeah,
put that on
I
our
believe it's
website.
hartfordstage.org, but you should fact check me on that.
Okay. Of course, everyone knows our website is WTNH.com. And of course, they can go there for more information. Jordan Sobel, it's been a delight speaking with you. Best of luck. No, break a
Thank you for
leg
having me,
this
guys. Please
week.
come.
And I hope you guys pack out the house.
I look forward to seeing you there, Ken.
All right. Take care. Hello and welcome to another edition of Eight Things to Do. I'm your host, Ken Houston. Of course, MLK Day is coming up, and we are joined right now by Harold Bailey, who is with the Westport Library to talk about this event, and the guest speaker who's going to be coming and joining them there. Thank you very much for joining us today, Harold.
Sure. Thank you, Ken. I'm delighted to
All right, tell us about
be
the
here.
event and the date in which is going to be taking place.
Well, let me start by first saying I'm with Team Westport, which is the Diversity Council here in Westport, and we're working in concert with the Westport Library and several other organizations to bring this event. We have two events actually coming up this weekend. The first is with Jelani Cobb, and it's going to take place on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Westport Library. The second, by the way, is on Monday, uh, January 19th at 7 p.m. We're going to have a screening of the movie True Justice, which is the story of Brian Stevenson.
All right. It sounds like it's going to be a fun filled weekend for a lot of historical things taking place. Why do you feel like it's so important that we continue to celebrate MLK Day?
My goodness, I mean, in light of what's going on now nationally and the impact it's having across the world, there couldn't be a more important time to have this day and this weekend where we really go back to focus on the core values of the country. Um, and that's what we're going to be emphasizing with both these events, um, so that we get back to the core values of who we are as Americans and what it really means. Uh, to some extent, that's gotten clouded with information and disinformation, and our focus is to really to get us kind of through the fog, back to who we are and who we should be.
And we're hoping to hear from Mr. Cobb and him sharing some insight into that very subject matter. Kind of give us a brief description of his background and what he brings to the table as a guest speaker.
Sure. He is a Peabody Award winner. He's a Pulitzer Prize finalist. Many of you may have seen him on MS Now or CNN as a political analyst. He's also a New Yorker magazine staff writer. But the biggest deal right now is that he is head of the Columbia School, Graduate School of Journalism. And as such is one of the primary speakers in the country about the current status and future of journalism, which gets to the status and future of truth to to a great deal in the country right now. And so he's going to be focused on the current situation, where we are, and where we should be headed with respect to journalism, communication, and kind of seeing through the fog of disinformation that may be around us.
All right, so this is going to be taking place at the Westport Library, I understand.
Yes, Westport Library.
All
Mhm.
right. In terms of capacity, in terms of how many people you're anticipating, is there a fee involved? Is it free and open to the public? Just give us all the details.
Sure, it's absolutely free and open to the public. By going to the Westport Library site and clicking on events, you're able to go and register to come to the event. We can hold about 600 folks, a little bit less than 600 folks for the event. And by the way, it is already very heavily subscribed. So I would say to move as quickly as possible to get that done. But we are also going to be simulcasting and streaming the event. So if you cannot get in, you should be able to register and have a link to see the event.
All right.
So
Let,
we
let's
hope
talk
as
about
many
the
people.
movie that you said that's going to be screened as well.
Sure. True Justice is a film that is based on the life and work of Brian Stevenson, um, who did quite a bit to to change some of the laws and some of the views around um, systemic injustice in the United States. And one of the things he did was many of you may know that he created the Equal Justice Initiative Monument and National Memorial down in Montgomery, Alabama. Um, and that I've been down, I've taken a look, I've been through that. It is really a transformative uh, kind of a venue to go to. Um, so this is going to be about him and his life. It is a film that also won an Emmy as a documentary, and it is produced by Trey Ellis. Trey Ellis is a Westport resident who is a filmmaker and a novelist, and he will be after the screening itself, which will be at 7 p.m. at the Westport Playhouse on Monday. After that, he will be spending some time in a Q&A with the audience to answer questions about his background with it and anything else that might come up. So that should be very interesting as well.
All right, you're going to have a very interesting and historical look at history and also look at the future, especially with Mr. Cobb's speech. I'm looking forward to hearing some of that myself as well.
Sure. I should also say that for for Mr. Cobb's speech, uh, he is also going to be joined by Trey Ellis. Trey is going to be in conversation with him, and both of them are professors at Columbia right now. So that should be pretty engaging.
All right. For our viewers and listeners, give us your website once again just for more information about this.
Well, if you go to westportlibrary.org for for the event at at the library, and you should be able to get into that and just click on events, and you go right to it. In fact, something should pop up about MLK eventually. I mean, immediately after you go to that site. For the other one, it's the westportplayhouse.org, and that would give you the entry, and something will pop up there about True Justice and the
All right.
screening that's going to take place.
Okay. Mr. Harold Bailey, thank you very much with Team Westport. Best of luck to you guys this weekend.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Eight Things to Do. I'm your host, Ken Houston. I've got a question for you today. Ever wonder what it's like to ride, that is, in a flying boat? Well, here's your chance to learn how. The New England Air Museum is hosting its Open Cockpit Day. And joining us to talk more about this is Stephanie Abrams. She is the president and CEO of the museum. Thanks for joining us today, Stephanie.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, riding in a flying boat. Okay, paint a picture for us. How do we do that?
Okay, sounds crazy, but when most people think about Igor Sikorsky, they think about helicopters, and that is correct. However, before helicopters, there weren't runways long enough really for aircraft to take off like we have now. And so he created these flying boats. The one that we have is the only one left in the world, and it is enormous. We move some aircraft around, this one never gets moved. Now, even though Saturday is an open cockpit day, and I'll talk about that, we rarely let people into this particular aircraft. It's the only one left on the planet. And also, it was given to us by actress Maureen O'Hara. I don't know how much of our audience, depending on the demographic, is going to remember her, but she was quite a famous movie star.
Oh, yes,
And
I'm old
so,
enough to remember.
yeah, so am I. I hate it, but yes, so am I. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, so we're having open cockpit day just with general admission, but for an extra $10, you can book time in the flying boat, which was the first transatlantic. I mean, it was for the wealthy first transatlantic aircraft, and with our docents,
Mhm.
so you get a history. It has seating compartments. I mean, sleeping compartments. It was way ahead of its time.
Wow. So when people walk in on Saturday, sort of paint a picture for us, tell us exactly what they're going to see, because I'm sure you have a variety of aircraft that are represented there.
We do. We have three enormous hangars and many exhibits that also have theaters. But when you walk in, the first hangar you come to is our military hangar. And so we have many aircraft that people can get into. And so you get in and you actually can feel the controls that have been worn smooth by the pilots who flew them in World War II. I mean, you're sitting in the cockpit and it's an incredible experience. It washes over me every time that I'm literally touching the same controls that these pilots flew. And there are several aircraft there that you can get into. And our docents also can tell you the history. Many of our docents have also flown some of the aircraft that are in the museum, so that's incredible. Then you go through New England Women in Aviation, and it starts from the earliest female pilots who strapped themselves into these contraptions that you would not believe, up through the Amelia Earharts, through the women who in World War II were key unsung heroes, and then into the women who became senior officers in the military and also flying jumbo jets, and then into the women who are creating the future of airspace.
And you bring up a very good point, talking about the women and also the future of airspace. This has got to be a very positive learning experience for children of all ages, and especially the young girls who come out there and witness all this.
The Women in Aviation exhibit is amazing because I see moms in there with the little girls and I get chills. But overall, kids often don't know what they don't know, and they come to this museum and they see things like the Igor Sikorsky exhibit with these crazy contraptions, but they come here and they see careers that they never even knew were possible, that they never dreamed were possible. It's not just being a pilot. You can design aircraft, you can test aircraft, you can be an A&P mechanic. There are so many careers for everybody, and so this museum is very inspirational and aspirational. You're not coming in here and just looking at aircraft. You're finding about the people behind the aircraft, the people who designed it, what was it for, and also in some cases, the engine. I mean, one quick example, I'm sure I'm taking up way too much time, but one quick example is our newest aircraft is an F-15. And one thing we point out is that the F-15 is a gorgeous aircraft, but the engine that Pratt & Whitney designed, the F-100, it enables that aircraft to take off on its tail.
Wow.
It's incredible to watch. So, and also you find out, and that's one thing we're focusing on Saturday in addition to open cockpits, is what is flight? How does it work? So there are all kinds of tabletop build and fly. We have the science of flight. There is so much for people of every age.
I know I was out there I think it was about 2 years ago, we were doing a story, and there was one particular aircraft, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of it, but it was so massive. It looked like it was probably larger than any typical New York City apartment, I would say.
We have three that fit that description. So one was what used to be as soon as you walked into the military hangar, but right now we have the Corsair, which is the only aircraft completely made in Connecticut. But that was the Tarhe that you saw. It looked so unwieldy. It's in our storage hangar right now, but it's enormous and it was
It
used for
is.
cargo. It was basically like a flying cargo truck. But also the flying boat that we're talking about is enormous. And then the B-29 Super Fortress, it's never moving out of that hangar because it
It's
just
found its home.
it's found its home and it's not moving. But
All
it
right, well,
shares, oh, I'm sorry, but it shares just one quick note. It shares a hangar with our exhibit on the Tuskegee Airmen, which has made us a stop on the Connecticut Freedom Trail and won a bunch of awards for the video that's in the theater.
as
So
it should have, because I've seen that and it's absolutely amazing. Stephanie Abrams, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Real quickly, give us the time, the date, and location that you're going to be on Saturday, and if there's a cost associated with it.
absolutely. So it's this Saturday at the Saturday the 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you look on our website, because the price depends on if you're a senior or for children. So, but if you go to www.neam.org, you can see the price for all age groups.
All right, Stephanie Abrams with the New England Air Museum. Always a pleasure.
Thank you
Thanks for
so much.
joining us.
Thanks for having me. Come see us.